Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, man. So Wladimir Klitschko calls it quits. A lot of us fans, we thought there was a really good chance that this would happen. Especially when Klitschko was taking all this time to make a decision about if he wanted to rematch Anthony Joshua. I know that they were making the fight towards the fall time, so there was some time there, you know what I mean, for him to make a decision. And I wanted him to take, I was okay when he said he wanted to take a few weeks off, maybe a month, and come to a decision. But then there was reports that he'll have his decision in June. And then once that turned to the middle of June, he'll have a decision to the end of June. I kind of knew that he was probably going to call it quits. Great career. Shit, it all starts, what, man, in '96 in the ATL, or the Olympics, but down in Atlanta, here in America, down in the ATL, man, he won a gold medal as super heavyweight. So it all started there, man, him and his brother. And before I get to him, man, just the things that him and his brother were able to do as far as two biological brothers dominating the division, we might not ever see that again, man, at the heavyweight division. We may not ever see it again. Now, to some of the traditionalists like myself a little bit, you know, when an era comes about, we want there to be one, one dominant, main dominant guy. We can probably argue that, there was never really a #1 heavyweight when him and his brother were around. It was kind of like a 1A, 1B type of thing, but they were brothers, you know what I mean? It wasn't like they were just avoiding each other, like just normal contenders and title holders. I mean, these dudes were blood brothers, man, so didn't really expect them to fight. So in that regards, we may not ever see that again. But as far as Wladimir, man, wow. Where do we start, right? From 2000 to 2003, he held, what, the WBO. Although the WBO really wasn't recognized yet as one of the main straps that you needed to become undisputed. I believe that was 2007 when they made that official. I'm doing all this stuff off the top of the head, man, but I believe it was 2007. And then from, what, 2006, he beat Chris Bird for the IBF. So 2006 to 2015, he held at least a title. Then he was unified from 2008 to 2012, where he had the IBF, the WBO, and the WBA. His brother held the WBC for a while. He retired, came back, held that WBC. He's beat a who's who as far as this last era. Now, I know a lot of my American fans out there, a lot of us, not me, but a lot of fans, they kind of stopped watching the division after Lennox was gone. Was at 99 when him and Holyfield fought for undisputed. And then when Lennox retired after the Wladimir Klitschko fight, a lot of fans just stopped watching it, man. But me, I kept watching the division. A lot of us did. A lot of American fans would say stuff like, I can't pronounce these guys' names, who they're fighting, or they're boring. And I'm not really one that's with the boring. To me, it's now things could be boring when you watch them, but to me, it's up to the opponent, man, to whoop his ass. You know what I mean? And if the opponent can't do that, board or no board, they got beat. You know what I mean? It's kind of the same thing that you can argue for, like, Mayweather. You know what I mean? People say, oh, he's boring. Well, shit, do something about it. Beat him. You know what I mean? But same thing with Wladimir, man. He fought, shit, like a who's who, man. Undefeated after undefeated. I believe his last 8 fights, 7 of the guys he fought were undefeated. 18 successful title defenses. He's fought some of the undefeated prospects in their own country. You know what I mean? Just a Hall of Fame career, man. What more else is there to say? Shit. Jennings, Pulev, Pianada, Wack, all these guys undefeated. Samuel Peter, when he was Samuel Peter, when he was who next, when he knocked out Jeremy Williams unconscious. That Samuel Peter, when he was dangerous, beat him when he was undefeated. Povetkin when he was undefeated. Pulev. Shit, man. One-loss fighters when they were still in their prime. David Haye, Eddie Chambers. I'm trying to think of everybody, man. Chris Bird. Then he fought guys. He, avenged losses to Layman Brewster. He fought Tony Thompson a few times when Thompson was tough. who's who, man. A who's who list. He even fought Asim Rockman. He was the first guy to stop Ray Mercer. And Ray Mercer's tough as granite. I believe Mercer only been stopped twice. I think Briggs stopped him too late in his career. But Hall of Fame career, man. There's none for me as a fan, man. None to complain about. And to me, these guys that are in this new era. Before I get to that, some of the well, I'm a Klitschko fan too, but you know, just some of the guys like that extreme fan base of a guy used to come to the videos, man, and were getting on me about, because I used to say, hey, man, I think this new wave of talent, it's either going to push Vlad out, or I think Vlad is going to start racking up losses, because I think that Father Time is taking his course, and I just think this new wave may be a little bit more talented than that wave of guys that came in like, you know, 2011. And some of those guys are still hanging around, but, you know, like the Seth Mitchells and just, you know, that class of guys. I think this class right here is a little bit more talented with Joseph Parker, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, so on and so forth. All the guys that are around, Luis Ortiz, although some of these guys are in their 30s, you know what I mean? Some guys are young, but I just think this, what's going on right now, is a little bit more competitive, you know what I mean? Along with Klitschko aging, you know what I mean? So I thought either he's going to keep racking up losses, or I thought he would just kind of, just kind of gracefully bow out, man. And 2 back-to-back losses against undefeated top guys that are, looked at as the future of the division. Nothing to hang his head down about, man. You know what I mean? A lot of guys that are hanging around right now in their 40s. I mean, guys like Pacquiao or a guy like Floyd Mayweather, guys that are approaching 40, they wouldn't even dare go in against the guys who are perceived as the killers, you know what I mean? And Klitschko, that's all he wanted to do most of the time. Now, I know some people may argue, oh, he didn't fight Deontay Wilder. Well, they never really got a chance of crossing paths. I mean, I can go, that's a whole other video. But yes, Klitschko once upon a time said he wanted to take care of his mandatories before he fight Wilder. And yes, I know Wilder once upon a time said that Klitschko needs to come to America if they want to fight. So we can go back and forth. This really isn't about that, man. Besides like Wilder and Ortiz and Parker, I mean, there are a few other guys that I would, some of us would have liked to seen him fight, but he pretty much did everything he needed to do, man. Now it's time for these new guys. It's their era now. It's officially Joshua, Wilder, everybody that's left. It's your era now. And you guys have big shoes to fill. And no, Tyson Fury, it's not just beating Klitschko and there's nothing else to prove. Maybe if that's for you, that's fine if that's for you. But to really take control of this era, you got big shoes to fill. Just like when the Klitschko's came and started taking over, they had the reign. It wasn't just one fight and then, okay, I won my one fight. Just like Joshua, it's more than just beating Klitschko. It's a great start. It's awesome. But you got to clean up everything else, just like the way the Klitschko's did. And before Klitschko, it was Lennox, you know what I mean? Lennox did his thing for years. And before that, you had, the Tyson and Holyfield and, you know what I mean? And all that type of stuff. You could throw Riddick Bowe in there. And then before those guys, the Eastern Assassin, one of my favorites, Larry Holmes. Before that, it goes on and on. Ali, Foreman, Frazier, Floyd Patterson, Rocky Marciano, Joe Louis, Jack Johnson. It goes on and on. You have to dominate. It's not just one win. Dominate. So I'm looking forward to see who's going to dominate. You know what I mean? Whether you're a fan of AJ or Wilder or Ortiz or Parker, I'm anticipating to see who's going to dominate this era. You guys got big shoes to fill, man. The mantle's being passed, and it's more than one fight, all right? So going to sit back, man, enjoy this new heavyweight scene, and see who's going to dominate, man. But Wladimir Klitschko, man, he did his thing. He did his thing, man. And Wladimir, and I was speaking with somebody offline about this, Wladimir Klitschko, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, one of you guys correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, man, but I believe the Klitschko brothers and my man Bone Crusher Smith are the only heavyweight title holders to have college degrees before they won a heavyweight title. That's amazing. That's amazing, man. That's amazing. Because usually, boxing is looked at as a poor man's sport. You know what I mean? That's not necessarily always the case, but usually it's a poor man's sport. You know, guys come from the bottom, man. They come from the bottom and work their way all the way to the top. But anyways, man, Wladimir Klitschko, you did your thing. Great career. You did everything you needed to do, man. Now it's time for these young fellas to leave their mark in the game and see what they can do. And let's see what this new era holds. And for, you know, like I said, the big Joshua fans, it's more than just beating Klitschko. Got a lot of work to do. Deontay Wilder got a lot of work to do. Joseph Parker got a lot of work to do. Luis Ortiz, I know you're up there in age, partner, but, you know, you got a few years left in you, it seems like. Got a lot of work to do. And everybody else is coming up behind that. All the young guys, all the guys that are, you know, 19, 20, like Daniel Dubois and Darmani Rock, the U.S. Prospect. There's a whole bunch of them. There's a lot of prospects, but they'll be looking at these guys, like the Joshuas and Wilder. They're going to be looking at them to pass the torch to them when it's their time. You know what I mean? So let's see how this new era pans out. Start seeing some great fights, man. But that's my video on Wladimir Klitschko, man. Great career. Great career. One of the best jabs in the game. Emanuel Stewart had a lot to do with his career as well. You know, rest in peace, Emanuel. Great career, man. Really, you know, as far as his style, people called it boring. To me, he had one of the best jabs I've seen, right up there with Larry Holmes. The way he used it, he was very effective. He could literally win a fight off his jab. That's some Larry Holmes type shit. That's some Muhammad Ali type shit. That's some Lennox Lewis type shit. That's all-time great. You know, that's Jack Johnson type shit, man, where you're just dominating with the jab. You know what I mean? Just dominate the whole fight with his jab. And you know, and all the great heavyweights didn't all fight like that, right? Joe Frazier, Mike Tyson, although Tyson had a very good jab. But I'm talking about literally going in there and just winning rounds with the jab. You know what I mean? Just easy street, just winning rounds with the jab. His jab 1-2 combination, like I said, right up there with the Holmes and Ali and, you know, guys like that. I'm talking about as far as just the technical parts of the game. All right, I'm not ranking him above those guys, although some of you might, but one of the all-time great heavyweights, man. I will say that. And where you rank him is wherever you rank him, man. Some people might have him top 5. I've conversated with a lot of guys that have him top 3, top 10. You know, wherever you rank him is where you rank him, man. But one thing I will say, though, for me, Klitschko was fun to watch. He was fun to watch. He was a big man. He could move. You know, Emanuel Stewart got him moving his feet, had him listening to James Brown and Michael Jackson and, you know, giving him some soul and some rhythm and some movement to his style, and it added to it, man. But Wladimir Klitschko, man, great career, bro. I'm out.